This is the video tutorial for section 1 of the Casey Pouchette bag. In this section we are going to cover your front exterior zipper pocket. In front of me I have all the pieces that will be required for this section. Pattern piece A exterior, B lining, C lining, the one without the window drawn, 2 of my zipper tabs, 2 exteriors and 2 linings, my number 5 zipper, which can be either metal or nylon with the pull already added on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set aside my lining pieces, my tabs, and my zipper, and we're going to focus on preparing the exterior pieces. Now in front of me I have my exterior pieces A and B, and I've placed them right side down. And I've aligned them so that the top is at the top and the lower portion is down below. I have gone ahead and added a strip of double-sided tape to the wrong side of that edge as well as the wrong side of this edge. Now, if you are using cotton, you can probably just iron that over and that will hold it in place. But I am using vinyl, so I'm using double-sided tape. If you are using leather, you could actually use glue here if you wish as well. And some vinyls, if you don't want to gum up your needle with your double-sided tape, which technically once that folds over shouldn't be in the way. However, you can use 1/8 of an inch double-sided tape, or you can use a contact cement to place on the wrong side and fold this over. But what I've gone ahead and done is I've used 1/4 inch double-sided tape and applied it to the wrong side right here. I'm going to peel the paper off that tape, and I'm going to fold over this edge where the tape is to that drawn line that you did in the prep area. I'm just going to fold it nice and even all the way down to the other side, just like that. And I'm going to do the same thing on the top portion. Peel the paper off, fold that up to that line, just like that. Now you can take a poly roller and you can roll that so you've got a nice crisp edge. Again, if you're using fabric, you can iron that over if you wish, but I like to have it nice and folded and stationary, so even if I was using fabric, I would probably glue it or use double-sided tape as well. Now what you're going to do is you're going to apply another piece of double-sided tape, and you're going to place it just next to the raw edge right there that you folded over, just like that. So I'm just going to place that on that area right there on the lower section as well as my upper section, just like that. Now I'm going to set these 2 pieces to the side, and then what we're going to do is we're going to prepare our zipper before we connect everything together. So we're now ready to prepare our front zipper. So in front of me I am using a number 5 nylon zipper. The pull is already in place. These are my 2 tabs, 2 exterior pieces and 2 lining pieces. Now if you're using a metal zipper, you are going to need to remove some teeth from the ends like so. What I generally do is I remove about 1/2 inch of teeth off of the end of this portion and 1/2 inch off this end. I will take and I will hand tack these 2 pieces together. Now I've used a different color of thread here, but I would advise you to use the same color just in case you don't sew that quite as close and you end up seeing that thread. You don't want it to be a contrast like I've shown, but this is strictly for visual presentation. So you need to remove those teeth off of the metal zipper before you apply your tabs. If you don't and you stitch over top of the teeth, the metal teeth, you could damage your machine and break your needle and cause some problems there. So you don't really want to be doing that. So I'm using a number 5 nylon zipper. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to sandwich your 2 ends between 2 pieces. So I have my exterior piece and I have my lining piece. I'm going to place my exterior piece right side down on top of the right side of one end of my zipper tape, just like that. And I'm going to take this lining piece with the right side facing the zipper portion at the back of that zipper tape, just like that. So I'm kind of sandwiching this between those two short edges of that tab. I'm going to do the same thing down at this other end. I'm going to place the right side down on top of the right side of the zipper tape, the right side of the lining to the wrong side of the zipper tape. Now, a lot of times I will add a little bit of glue here to hold everything in place, but you don't have to. You can just use clips if you wish. I'm going to go to my sewing machine and I'm going to stitch these ends together using a 1/2 inch seam allowance. So if I were to show you, you would come down here and stitch right across from one edge of the tape to the other using a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Then we're going to come back and we're going to fold it back over and prepare it to be added to the front of our bag. So now that I have stitched my ends of my zipper tabs to the end of my tape, this is what it should look like. I've gone ahead and pushed that one over to the side, but I will show you how to do that here. So you have actually enclosed that zipper between the two right sides of your tab. What I also like to do at this point is I like to add a little bit of glue right here along that seam and also along the lining piece. Now make sure that you're not going to penetrate your glue. You want to make sure that you have a damp cloth at your side as well. I'm going to fold this over like this and I'm going to add a little bit more glue right there. Again, this is a personal choice. I prefer to use that to keep everything in place. I am then securing that whole end of that zipper tape in between those two layers. As you can see, just going to put a clip on there to hold everything together. So this is what your zipper should now look like. You have enclosed both of the raw edges of your zipper tape within those tabs. Now I am going to go back to the sewing machine and I'm going to just top stitch a line right down through the area right here to secure everything together. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back and I'm going to show you how we begin placing the zipper into the front pieces that you have prepared earlier, so the top and the bottom, and we'll do that and get it ready for your front pocket. So as you can see in front of me, I have finished off my zipper section with the tabs and the top stitching here at the end. I have done my stitching approximately 1/8 of an inch past this seam on both sides. That just secures everything together. I've gone ahead and added center on the zipper edge right here of the tape. You don't want to go in too far because this piece will be placed on top, so you want to hide that center mark, but you do need it there to align, keep everything all aligned. As you notice, I have my exterior A and my exterior B placed above and below the zipper, facing right side up on all pieces as well as the zipper. Now my zipper is going to close over to the left, and if you want yours to close to the right, well then you'll have to just turn this whole zipper piece over so that the pull when it's closed is over at this side. Totally up to you as to what you would like to do. Now here's a little tip that will help you have a straight zipper and not a wavy zipper. Take a piece of Scotch tape or shipping tape, tape the one end of your zipper tab to something sturdy like a cutting board, and I've added another piece of tape to the other end, and you want to tug on this whole piece. You don't want to pull it so hard you pull it away from that tape, but you want to pull it nice and tight so that it keeps everything really taut and in place. As you can see, it's now nice and straight, and it's almost got like a little sort of a ping to it, so you can tell it's nice and taut. I'm going to make sure that my zipper pull is placed right in the center there. I'm now going to take and peel back the double-sided tape off the wrong side of the lower piece. I want to align my center point with the center point on my zipper tape, and I want to keep this folded edge approximately 1/8 of an inch away from that zipper teeth. So I'm just going to begin by placing that right there, and then I'm going to work one side at a time down to the end. Make sure that pulls out of the way. And it's easier to make sure that everything is nicely aligned when that zipper tape is taut. I'm going to do the same thing on the upper piece. I'm going to pull that paper off the double-sided tape, align my centers, and keep the folded edge approximately 1/8 of an inch away from the teeth of that zipper. Now, if you find that you are kind of off a little bit here on those edges, then just shift that whole section again. You want to smooth this down with your finger. Make sure it's nice and even. I'm going to take the tape off of the end of that tab on that side as well as that side. And then I'm going to take a pair of scissors and I'm going to snip off the excess from my tab like that. And my double-sided tape stuck to my cutting mat. So this is what your piece, there we go, should now look like. You should have this portion folded on top of the zipper on the wrong side. This is what it will look like, and you should show the right side of your lining. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to retrieve my lining piece, and we're going to add the lining to get the pocket all set in place. So I now have retrieved my pattern piece B lining, and again it has the interface already added to it. This is the piece we just did and where we applied the zipper. There's your right side, so your zipper is facing down, and we're exposing the wrong side of this section you just completed. What you want to do is you want to take your lining piece, and this is a straight edge right at the top. Now remember, you've put double-sided tape. You should still have some tack there, but if you don't, then you may want to add another strip of double-sided tape. You want to align this raw edge with that folded edge of that lower section. So you want to place the right side of this lining piece down, aligning your center mark with that center mark on that fold. Push it just right there a bit in place, and then make sure that that straight edge of this pattern piece B is aligned with that fold of your exterior. Press that nicely in place, and I'm then going to take a couple of clips and just clip the lining to my upper portion right there, just to keep it from shifting on me. Take this piece and place this right side up, so you want to flip it over. And what we're going to do is we're going to go to the sewing machine and we're going to stitch along this folded edge, the lower portion, not the upper portion. You want to keep your stitch approximately, 1/8 of an inch away from that folded edge, all the way down to the other end and back stitch. So we'll go ahead and we'll go stitch that in place. Now when you're using top stitching, you may want to lengthen your stitch to make it more consistent, so it's not too tight. The tighter the stitch, the more inconsistencies will show. So the longer the stitch, you won't show as many waves and waffles in your top stitching. So we'll go ahead and we'll go do that now. So as you can see, there's my top stitching. I just did at the machine. I have secured that lining to this portion. Now what we're going to do is we're going to unclip those sides, and I'm going to flip this so that it's right side down and the wrong side showing up. I've gone ahead and added another strip of double-sided tape right here. So you want to place that piece just below that seam you just made. Pull the paper off that tape, and you want to pull this lining so that the wrong sides are now together, and tug on it, secure that zipper down into that area like so, and that'll stop that from getting caught into your zipper area. On the right side, you may have some additional lining. So what you want to do is you just want to trim that away and get rid of it. So now everything should be nice and even. Retrieve your pattern piece C, the one that you had begun with, one without any kind of markings. You want to place that so that the right side's facing up. And then you want to take this piece and you want to place the wrong side of that upper top, or the right side of that pocket lining, down on top of the right side of lining piece C. And I'm just going to clip these in place, so you should make sure that everything is nicely aligned. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go back to the sewing machine, and you're going to stitch across this top area right here, the other side of the zipper tape, just like you did here, and that will secure this lining to the rest of it. So now we'll go back to the machine and we'll continue with that stitch. So there's my top stitching all done on the other side of the zipper. So I secured the pocket completely. As you can see, when you open that up, it's nice and professionally done and well secured. Now we have not connected any of these layers, so technically the pocket is still open. We'll do that in a second. But in the meantime, I am going to show you what you need to do on the back side. Now I've gone ahead and I've added my marking for my logo. We'll cover that in 2 seconds. You're going to flip this so that the right side is down, and you're going to draw a second line up at the top, 1/2 inch down from that area on this lining piece only. As you can see, this is kind of flopping, and I want to leave this on here to add a little bit more stability on this front section right here. So that 1/2 inch line has been drawn, and I'm going to trim away on the lining only that 1/2 inch that I just marked, like that. And I am going to add some glue to the other side of the lining, so on the right side. So that's going to be connected to the wrong side of that upper area. I'm just going to cover it just, just a little bit, but I want to make sure it's well bonded to that wrong side. It helps it keep everything stable. Push that up and in place like this. So this gives a little bit more security in that upper flap area. I'm going to flip this piece back over. Now, if you have a logo or a label that you want to put on this bag, this is the time you want to do it before you connect anything together. So I'm putting mine up at the top. You could probably put it down below here. So you'd want to make sure that your linings are well away, and you just want to go through only the right side, or I should say the exterior portion. So I'm going to take and trim off. If you have any extra lining kind of showing, you want to get rid of it. Now I'm going to put my logo on here. I use a pair of scissors that have been broken, and I generally will stab through that mark and slice that area. And same down here, slice that area. My labels have got the prongs on them. Yours might be totally different, or you just may not have any at all. That's totally up to you as to whether you want to put this on or not. This is mine. So I now go through that area that I have used the scissors on. Put that piece of plastic back on so it doesn't scratch. My prongs are coming through both the lining and the exterior. I'm going to place the plate on there, fold those prongs into place, and then I'm going to take a piece of foam, or you can glue anything, whether it be a vinyl or leather or anything like that. This is the peel and stick foam from Rita at Amelia Bags, and this is just extra pieces I keep on hand from my cuts. And I'm just going to fold that back down on top so that it's not sharp at all. Now before I'm done, I am going to redraw my line. at my 1 inch, because this is actually 1 1/4, so that's not our fold. I'm going to line this everything up again from this top edge and redraw the line that I have just covered up all the way across there, that 1 inch line right there. So that completes the front of your bag. I also like to take some glue once I have completed everything, and I like to connect everything together. So I just go along this outer edge right here, add some glue to the right side, or the wrong side of my exterior, wrong side of my lining there, and then the right side of this interior lining. I just find it keeps everything together so it doesn't shift when you go and do your stitching. And just press that in place, and you're going to just set that aside for a bit. We're then going to continue with section number 2, which is assembling the front and the back together and adding our strap tabs. So that completes the front pocket area of your Casey Pouchette bag.